right. Next topic we're going to discuss is revolving around Todd Haynes' NC-17 feature. I don't know if you guys remember this. This was the period piece. It was a gay-themed feature. It was called Denoche. This was going to star Joaquin Phoenix, and then he left very soon before production was going to begin. Literally at 5 days, according to Hollywood Reporter, before production began, and it was because he developed cold feet, from the production. Well, according to Deadline, or according to multiple sources, actually, Pedro Pascal is apparently in discussions to star in that film. And according to Deadline, the original co-star, Danny Ramirez, he is set to return to work alongside Pedro Pascal, and production is looking to begin based on the availability of Pedro Pascal. So they're going to work around his schedule, and looks like this project is going to get back off the ground. Look, it's always nice to see productions get a second chance, or given a second life. The Coyote versus Acme thing, people were talking about that. I think that was more about financial potential and test screenings being poor on that end that kind of killed that. And then fan outcry, Warner Brothers is not even distributing that film. They just handed it off to somebody else. They financed it, but they're not distributing it. They don't even want to put it out in theaters. But in this case, though, I've never understood or liked the approach to this project, because they're aiming for an NC-17 rating, or at least this filmmaker is, Todd Haynes. I don't know if that's still the case at this point, but if it is, I don't quite understand it, especially if you're aiming for, in the case of NC-17, NC-17 means extremely explicit content, like hard nudity or hard depictions. And I think personally that's why Joaquin Phoenix left in the first place, because he probably wasn't comfortable with how the story was being built. I think that he originally brought the idea to the director. I could be wrong on that, but probably he wasn't. It wasn't what he envisioned it to be. Which is weird to think about if you're asking someone else to direct something and then you have your own expectations. I mean, might as well just do it yourself at that point, right? But that's just speculation, though. But I think that he was probably just not happy with where things were going, and I don't blame him a whole lot, because of just shooting for such extreme rating. I don't know. I think that the whole mentality of it, the whole mentality of extremism, it doesn't always produce meaningful storytelling in my eyes, as much as it's just a collection of arresting visuals. In this, it would be a lot of sexual material, a lot of heavy nudity, and I don't know. And to be fair, we also don't know how hardcore they plan to depict events and how that will correlate into the rating system, the MPAA. He could say he's aiming for NC-17, but, that's really up to the rating system. But even they're not as reliable, to be frank. Like, that's the same company that gave Blonde an NC-17 rating based on the suggestive material, not literally what was on screen, So I don't know. I don't particularly love the spirit behind this production. I could see why Joaquin Phoenix decided to step away. But it's nice to see it get off the ground. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on a project getting a second chance. I'm just saying, from my own personal view, I just don't like the mentality behind it. I would prefer them to just create a good story and not have to contend with hardcore nudity or having to consider those factors. You know what I mean? Just tell a good story and then let the rating fall where it may. Don't be so focused on all those things, because it sounds weird. Like just making a film that caters to that and is going to be actively, seeking that hardcore depiction. It's like, I don't know. It just doesn't rub me the right way. So it's nice to see it get off the ground, but I think that the spirit needs to change in order to become something more genuine and intriguing. So.